Welcome to Lighting for Profits with Ryan Lee, your number one source for all things landscape lighting. From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing, we discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What is up? Welcome to the premiere. It's the second premiere, but it's the first premiere. It's the premiere of Lighting for Profits. I'm your host, Ryan Lee. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you could join me. And yeah, it's true. I had to change the name from Light It Up to Lighting for Profits. So from here on out, it's Lighting for Profits, baby. And I'm super excited. Yeah, I just wanted to have two premieres. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to change the name. Lighting for Profits. So it's the premiere episode. Can you believe it? There's the second premiere, which is the first premiere of Lighting for Profits. So thank you so much for being here. I might even just change the name of the show every few weeks, just to keep everyone on their toes. If you have a name that you want me to change to in 2 weeks, let me know. Holy cow, guys. I'm so excited. Today's show is going to be awesome. I've got a good friend, a friend of mine who's actually an early adopter to landscape lighting secrets. So he's one of the first guys, one of my founding members of Landscape Lighting Secrets. His name is Woody Kerwin. He's going to be here live with me in the Landscape Lighting Secrets studios. Actually, he'll be in Wisconsin. But I'm really, really excited to have him on. We're going to pick his brain a little bit and find out what he's doing, because he's getting some major traction in his business. He's growing it and doing all the right moves. So I'm really excited to have him on and have him share his experiences with us. And so I'm super excited. Now, today we're going to talk a little bit about what it takes to become a business owner instead of just being stuck as a business operator. And what is the difference between a business owner and a business operator? Okay. But before we jump into it, I want to make sure you guys know how to find me. So if you're listening live, thank you. We're here live every Tuesday at 5 Eastern on Turfs Up Radio. Okay. So make sure you tune in live. Now, if you're unable to make it or something comes up, then make sure you download the podcast. So yes, I am recording all this. It's going to be in podcast form, and it takes a little bit to verify. But in the next couple of days, I'm going to be on every single platform available where you listen to your podcast. So, you know, all the big ones, iTunes, all that stuff, Beaker, all those places. I don't even know if that's how you say it, Breaker, whatever it was. But go and download it and listen. Okay, so if you miss it, go listen. If you want to review some scenes, if you want to like, hey, what did he say? What were they talking about? Go help us out and download it. I've also got a free, if you're looking for some resources, I've got a free Facebook group called Landscape Lighting Mastermind. Just search it up, request access, and I'll let you in. And inside that group, my goal is the same as it is here on Turfs Up Radio and on Lighting for Profits, is to help you grow your business. Okay. And keep in mind, even if you haven't jumped into the lighting game, everything that I go over, everything I teach will apply to really any home service business. So even if you're just doing landscaping right now and you want to get into lighting, all these principles, all these concepts will apply. If you're a pressure washer or Christmas light guy, whatever, same thing, right? Also, check me out on YouTube at Landscape Lighting Secrets. And of course, you can follow me at Ryan Lee Live on Facebook. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks so much for your support. It's been an incredible journey just to get to this point. And I honestly would not be here if it wasn't for you guys out there. So thank you. So let's just jump right into this and talk about the difference between, being self-employed versus being an entrepreneur. Because, a lot of people, it's kind of like the American dream. It's like everyone wants to own, not everyone, but the majority of people is like, man, I want to own my own business. And you don't really think through what that means. And if you've already made that jump and you own your own business, you know what I'm talking about. It's not, there's no like manual that says like, here's step one, here's what to do. You have to figure out a lot of this stuff on your own. And you find out really quickly that being self-employed is not the same as being an entrepreneur. Most of us left a pretty good paying job to start our own business. And we find really quickly that, you know what, being self-employed is just being employed by ourselves. Like I now am my own boss. And by the way, that's kind of, you get bad pay, bad hours, terrible hours, and a terrible boss. You're your own boss. You're not very nice to yourself. Okay. You're not as good as you might think as being a boss. Right. And so in a lot of cases, uh, being self-employed is actually worse than just being employed by somebody else who has, good health insurance benefits, good pay, your hours, you're done at 5 every day, whatever, you get weekends off. But my goal is to help you. So if you're struggling, if you feel trapped in your business and you feel like, gosh, I started this because I wanted freedom. I wanted to experience that. I wanted to feel like I could, control my own hours and control my own destiny, but you feel trapped, then this is for you, because that's how I was. Okay. And everything that I've created, all the content and everything I teach and everything else is designed for myself, honestly, like 10 to 15 years ago. And and when I create new trainings, I'm like, okay, if this was me 10 years ago struggling, what would I want to hear? What would help me? What would pull me up? Right. And so that's what inspires me. That's what gets me to come up with content that I know will be able to help you. So I'm going to play this real quick because if you're feeling like this, then you know what I'm talking about. So here, let me just pull this up real quick. I got like so many buttons I got to keep keep track of here. So let's see. Let me turn this up so you can hear this.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Harry. What happened? His head fell off. His head fell off? Yeah, he was pretty old. Oh, that's it. I've had it with this dump. We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off. Okay, just calm down.
We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off. Okay. Are you frustrated? Are you frustrated with yourself? And you know that you're better than this. You know that you can do this. You know what you're capable of. You're talented. You know what your strengths are. But why are you not able to get traction? Why are you not able to get to that next level? That's what we're going to uncover here on Lighting for Profits. And it's not just one thing, guys. And that's why I'm going to be here every week. Okay. Because there's a lot of different things. And when you put them together is when you start to gain momentum. And that momentum is what freedom tastes like and feels like. Okay. So my goal is to help you experience that momentum, experience that freedom, and not feel trapped anymore in your business. So understand this, no matter where you're at, you want to understand where you're at and where you want to be, and then how to get there, right? So an entrepreneur owns a business. They're not in the trenches. They're literally not digging trenches for lighting or for wire, right? And an entrepreneur is a creator, a visionary. Now, we all have to start somewhere, right? So wherever you're at, don't feel bad about where you're at. I mean, you're further and off now than when you started, right? So, but it's important to understand and recognize the difference and decide what you want. And the sooner that you decide what you want and where you're at and understand the difference, then the sooner you can start working on that and getting to that point where you should already be. I mean, we all have that. We all like, man, why am I not there, right? And honestly, it's not something that you're going to ever perfect. Like, I sold my landscape lighting business, and now here I am doing this coaching business, and it's different. It's a different model. And I have the same I guess I have the same feelings and stuff that I used to have, right? And I'm like, man, I need to apply what I'm teaching myself about something else, because right now I'm the same way. I feel self-employed and I'm working on becoming an entrepreneur. So I'm going to be hiring people to help me in my business so that I cannot be self-employed. So I'm not going to be a business operator. So I'm going to be a business owner again, because I know what that freedom tastes like. So I totally remember being trapped in my landscape lighting business. I started it off and I kept kind of working more hours and getting stuck and not getting traction. And at first it didn't matter. I was like, hey, who cares? Like, this is fun. This is the American dream. I'm doing this for myself. And honestly, some of that is fine, but some of it's kind of a lie to yourself just to get you through the day, But at some point I realized this is not the American dream. I feel trapped. Where'd that freedom go? I wanted that freedom, like where, how is this the American dream? And, my goal wasn't to be the biggest out there, but what I realized was that was kind of the thing that was hindering me. I thought I could do everything myself. Right. And perhaps you've thought the same way, where you're like, you know what, I can't hire an installer because I can't teach them. There's no one will care as much as I care. I can't hire a salesperson because they can't sell as good as I can. I can't hire an office manager because I can't trust them because of whatever, right? And we kind of tell ourselves these lies to justify what we're doing right now. But I'm here to tell you that the sooner you can start to hire your replacement, the sooner you're going to start to experience that freedom, and you're going to start to experience that momentum. And it feels so, so good. So I want you to decide what you're the best at. Okay. So a lot of people think, well, I don't want to be the biggest. I just want to be the best at what I am. But in order to be the best, you have to be bigger than where you are. You don't have to be the biggest, but you have to be bigger than what you currently are. You have to create a team. You have to hire more installers, a salesperson, someone in the office. You have to create a team. Otherwise, you can't be the best, because it's impossible to answer the phone when you're in a sales call. It's impossible to do a sales call while you're in a tree. Like, you can't be in two places at once. So define what you're the best at, and you can still work in your business while you're working on your business, but define what you're going to do. And then everything else that you're not the best at, you need to hire. And it's about the who, not the how. So you don't need to learn how to do graphic design. You need to hire people who can do that, right? So don't focus on how to get it done. Focus on who is going to get it done for you. And honestly, you're going to have to map this out. Define really what you're good at. Map out your business and what you want it to look like. So you may not be there today, but if you want a general manager at some point, map it out. Put that general manager in that position, right? And then schedule time each week, guys. You've got to do this. I procrastinated for years and years and years, and that time is something I'll never get back. Okay, time is truly our greatest asset. You can make a lot of money, but time is, it's like the great equalizer. We all have 24 hours in a day, right? So you need to schedule time every single week. And if you feel overwhelmed, then just schedule 30 minutes. And then next week, next month, schedule an hour a week. But get to that point where you're scheduling time every single week to work on your business. I promise you, your future self will thank you. Okay. And then you'll thank me. But seriously, like, you need to work on your business. You've got to schedule it in. Otherwise it won't get done, because you're already getting pulled in 1,000 different directions, right? So make sure you schedule your time and then hire your replacement one person at a time. Okay. It's not easy for people to admit, because a lot of times people say, well, I don't want to be biggest. I don't want to be big or whatever. But if you want to be the best and you want to provide that top level service to your clients, you need help. Okay. And you're not going to be as good as you are at whatever you're good at. You can't be perfect in all things. You're not going to be perfect at anything, but you're probably not going to be the best designer and installer and salesperson and office manager and maintenance person and accountant and all that. Like, you have to hire a team around you. Okay. So stop lying to yourself. You're not the best, right? You might be the best and you can be the best company, but you need a team to do that. So hire your replacement one person at a time. And you do this by developing a checklist. Develop some standard operating procedures and do that, and document everything that you do so that anyone can do it, even a brand new person coming in. And then the last thing, and then we're going to take a quick break before we have my good friend Woody Kerwin on, is don't let fear hold you back. Okay. Done is better than perfect. A lot of people are like, well, I'm not ready. You know, they're scared, right? It's that fear, which is totally normal. Okay. We all have that. But you might be like, well, I'm not ready to hire because I don't have my process perfect. Ryan said, I got to have a process, right? Don't worry about it. You'll develop that over time. Just take action. That's the biggest thing. You're never going to have a perfect process. You're never going to be fully ready. So just jump in and do it and take action. So that's what I want to do to just kick off this show. But like, guys, I am super excited because in just a few minutes, we've got Woody Kerwin with Night Owl Landscape Lighting coming on, and he's going to give us some of his secrets on what he's been doing and why he's doing it. Because I'm telling you, he's got some big projects going on. He's got some good moves he's making in his business, and it's really cool to see. So we're going to tap into his mind, tap into his brain, and see exactly what he's doing. So I'm super excited. I hope you guys will stick around, and we're going to take just a quick break, and then we'll be right back. So stick around, and in just a few minutes, we're going to have Woody Kerwin with Night Owl Landscape Lighting.
Do you hear that? It's quiet. No sounds of anger,
attempts to throw a phone or computer out the window, or annoyance trying to change your business to make it fit into a software program. Crew Control just works. It's easy to do your scheduling. You can be up and running in less than a day. It's got everything you need and nothing you don't. Give it a try for yourself with our 2-week free trial. crewcontrol.com. That's crewcontrol.com.
Hey, landscape pros, are you tired of digging through rocks and roots and breaking shovels in the process? Then it's time you checked out the Geo Ripper 616. It's a landscaper's dream with the Makita 6 Series 2-cycle engine producing over 4 horsepower of raw performance. The 616 digs deep in up to 16 inches of the toughest soil. Lighting, landscape, and irrigation contractors already love this improved lightweight trencher with its ability to get in and get out faster, easier, and with less ground disturbance. And you will too. This redesigned Geo Ripper 616 comes with 2 heavy-duty digging chains and a whole mess of helpful extras. To learn more about the Geo Ripper and how it can help you out in the field, visit georipper.com today.
Hey everybody, this is Hecubus from the Nightcap. I'm just sitting here relaxing within the vault with my friends and a tasty, tasty pint. You should stop by and listen in sometime. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live only on Turf's Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
All right, guys, welcome back to Lighting for Profits. I'm your host, Ryan Lee, here on Turf's Up Radio. The time is 5:17 Eastern, and it's time to welcome my good friend, Woody Kerwin of Night Owl Landscape Lighting. How's it going, Woody?
It's good. How you doing, Ryan?
Good, man. Thanks for jumping on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thanks to you. Thanks to Turf's Up Radio. It's a cool chance to be on here. It's my first podcast, and it's good to be part of the second premiere. That's pretty cool. So,
yeah, it's the first premiere. I'm not even sure how to word that, but it's got to feel good. Yeah, I mean I might do a premiere every 2 weeks, so that would take away from the grandeur of it. But right now, you are on the second premiere.
That's fantastic. Sounds good to me.
Well, man, I appreciate having you on because we've gotten to know each other over the past, 9 or 10 months or something like that. And I think it's cool to see someone who, it's not like you've been around in the industry for 30 years. Heck, you don't even look 30 years old. So I don't even know your age, but it's cool because you come in and you're one of those guys who really wants to better your business in all different aspects. You're not just focused on being the best designer or the best installer, but you do want to grow your business. And I love that. It's been beneficial to me because it keeps me motivated. And I think other people in our group too. So I think it's awesome what you're doing. Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's been a really good opportunity, and working in this class has been, your program has been a really good opportunity. And yeah, I'm always looking to improve, and that's, I think, essential for anyone who is an entrepreneur that is willing, if you're willing to make the leap, to do whatever it is you love, whether that's lighting or whatever service, whatever business that you really find a calling to, you've got to go all in, you've got to invest time, money, all that kind of stuff. And once that starts falling by the wayside, if you stop caring and you get kind of complacent in anything, good luck. You stop making your own luck, and then you don't find any. So you got to keep after it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so hey, tell us real quick just about yourself and kind of how you ended up where you're at now. We all kind of have our story of how we got into landscape lighting, and I've noticed they're kind of similar, but then they're all unique. We all have different backgrounds and stuff. So just tell us real quick about yourself.
So yeah, I'm 35. I'm glad I look young. No problem there. But I'm 35. I've got a beautiful wife and 3 fantastic children, and they're all 6 and under. So while I'm trying to grow this business, I'm also trying to grow a family, and it's a handful. I'll try to do the best as I can at both of these things. But I got involved in lighting a little over 10 years ago. I've been in the green industry for a little over 10 years, and I had the opportunity to learn from someone at my former employer who was pretty well versed in it, real good with the technical aspects of it, and nobody else really wanted to do it when he left to take another opportunity, and I really wanted to do it. I really enjoyed the little bit of exposure I had, and then once it was my baby over there, I took it and worked with it and made it grow and did everything I could up to the point where, I kind of knew at some point I was going to go off on my own and do my own thing. But I got bit by the bug just by looking at fixtures and installing. I mean, it was the 2011 or so. So LED had been around, but it was really picking up steam. People were still installing halogen then, but the technology was really cool too. Just to kind of be on the forefront of all that and get to see all those new products. It was just exciting. So
That's awesome, man. So how long have you been on your doing your own business then?
We are entering season 5. So started 2017 is when I started this company, Night Owl.
Cool. So I guess what inspired you, or why are you deciding? Because it seems like something happened or has happened where, the first few years we're all kind of fine doing it on our own, but it seems like just recently you've decided to get out of that solo entrepreneur stage and actually work on building your business.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of it was it was the only logical next step. I did everything for over 3 years by myself, sales and design and installation and everything. And I couldn't keep up, and it got to the point where either you want to stay having a job that, you work for yourself and you got the flexibility, and there's a lot of great things that go along with that. Or you want to, take it to the next level. And one of the big things is relationships with people. And when you start running out of time, because you're installing and you're running around, you're doing sales, you're doing design, you got little kids, which adds a lot. Your relationships would suffer a little bit. Your response time goes down a little bit, and it's like, okay, well, you got to do something or nothing. So it got to the point where I've always wanted it to take it to the next level, and I probably waited a little bit longer than maybe some people would, but I was just kind of being cautious with the process. And I was looking for, a coach or a mentor, and you reached out at, just the right time. I talked to some other business coaches who were not, just general business coaching, and it was interesting. And I talked to them, and I learned a little bit, but it just wasn't enough for me to be like, all right, yeah, I'm ready to invest in you. But kind of you reached out right as your program started, and I was like, well, that's what I'm talking about. I need to talk to someone who can specifically address all the same things that I'm going through. So that helped take it from solopreneur and just be like, all right, now we're doing this. Now we're growing, let's roll.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. And that was just random timing or whatever, because when we talked, you said that you're like, yeah, I talked to some other kind of general coaches or whatever. So, I mean, what decide, and this, I wasn't even really planning on asking you this, but why did you decide to trust me? I mean, we didn't even know each other. You're one of those guys who really does your research. You're not one to make a lot of bad decisions because, like you said, it took you a little bit longer to maybe jump ship and really start growing more because you kind of think things through, which is not a bad thing, by the way. Sometimes it's, I might be a little too reckless, but what made you decide to be like, you know what, I'm doing this? Like, because at some point I've noticed some people have that ability to be like, you know what, I'm doing this. And then other people are like, I'll just keep dragging my feet and thinking about it forever.
Well, I think, we had a lot of conversations on the phone, and it was, or a couple anyways, and they were both long. And I really wanted to know what you'd done with your company and where you'd taken it. And hearing that helped because, again, I had sort of already decided I needed to talk to somebody. I needed to have a coach or a mentor because there were just too many questions I couldn't adequately answer, and I didn't have the time to research. And it just, you get to a point where you find things are outside of your realm and you need help. So I knew I needed help, and I'd already started kind of the process of talking to other people that may be able to help. And when I saw what their shortcomings were for what I was looking for, your program hit all those notes where it's like, all right, we're going to go over details of, how to find partners, how to work with marketing, how to deal with these situations with objections with specific lighting clients, which is just lighting is it's a different sell. It's an emotional sell. It's not the same thing as an electrician or another, job where it's like, it's a service more so. So having, experience of talking about overcoming those objections, things like that are really valuable, and when I knew that you had gone through all of that and I had talked to you about it, it just seemed like the obvious fit. It's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to work with somebody who can actually give me direct advice, and has been in these same situations. So.
Yeah, that's cool. The thing that I like about that is that, one, that you joined my program. No, but what I like about it is it reminds me of, like, if you've ever been lost or you're like trying to find directions, like if you're like me, it's like, I'll just spend an hour looking for it instead of just asking someone on the street corner that could tell me right where it is. For some reason, our pride, our ego gets in the way. And the same thing happens with business. Like, we're like, no, I can figure this out on my own. But you were willing to, even before we met, like, you were already searching. Like, you had humbled yourself and you're like, you know what, I need help. I'm going to find somebody to attach to and help me get to that next level. And I think that's a huge reason for your success, is you're willing to do that. You're willing to learn from others, where I think a lot of people hinder themselves and they're like me, like, well, I'm not going to ask for directions. I'll just be stubborn and just try to figure it out on my own. And, listen, I did a lot of that. It took me years and years and years to figure some of this stuff out. When I finally started hiring people and mentor and getting a mentor and coaches, that's when I started to get that traction. So I've been on both sides of it, I guess what I'm saying. And I think it's pretty admirable of yourself that you recognize that internally and you decided to take action. So that was cool.
Yeah, and that's been the only way to grow. I'll dabble and try and do everything, because if I put myself to most things, like, I can get pretty good at them, I think. But do you have the time for it? Like, a good example is early when I started, I was like, all right, I'll do my own QuickBooks. I'm going to learn it, all that jazz. I tried for a little bit and I was like, why am I spending my time doing this? I just had the simple QuickBooks Online setup, and I was like, you can just get an accountant and they can be on there. And I mean, why would I be spending my time doing that? Like, that is not doing anything for me. So those types of things, like, yeah, when I need help, I might try a little bit and get some research done to see, to know a little bit about it. But when I need something, and I'm set on it, it's just time to go do it. And, make sure you find someone that works for you, no matter what you're looking for. But you got to make the decision to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think that's, honestly, just from an outsider's perspective, I think that's one of the major things why you're seeing a lot of success and traction in your business. I wanted to ask you, what are some things that you do to stay motivated every day? I know that's kind of when you start your own business and you don't, like, it's easy to get motivated at first because you're like, well, I need to pay the mortgage. But then, things kind of get rolling and stuff like that. What are there any tips or anything you can give the listeners out there of what they can do to stay motivated?
Well, so for me, we're growing at a pretty good pace. And every day, I mean, it sounds cliche, but every day is pretty exciting. I mean, every single day is a challenge, and I like taking that stuff on. So I don't even, at this time, I don't even consider, like, boy, I don't want to go to work today. It never comes up. I don't, right now, I don't lack for motivation. There's going to be a time where that comes, where maybe things settle down a little bit, but I like challenges, and I like trying to push ourselves to get better, and it's not me, it's one of the guys. It's, that, well, how can I make him better today? It's, what's the process that we can change to improve this or that? I'm just so invested in improving all that stuff and working on it that I don't find myself unmotivated to do it. But it can be challenging, it can be daunting. It's long days sometimes when the hours are thin and you've worked yourself all day. I can definitely see where you might need a little bit of a push, but go out at night and look at one of your cool projects. I mean, once you get a project done, you should be going out there at night anyways, and talk to your customers and see how wild they are at a really cool project that you're both really happy with. And then you're fueled for the next one, because it's, you just feed off of that. So that, if nothing else, if you're in lighting, you should be feeding off that type of, like, excitement from your customer base. Yeah,
absolutely. So do you do a walkthrough on every job at night?
Not every, but most. Anything, kind of all the bigger projects for sure. The smaller, if it's just kind of a front of the house pathway, not anymore, because I mean, if I didn't have kids, I probably would work myself to the bone, but I've got to draw a little bit of a line somewhere. And now I'll try and tie, if I'm back in that neighborhood, I'll try and tie a few in and one night, maybe the next week or something. So I still try to do that. And any really involved project, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of those things. I think the more advanced you get in your career, people do less and less of that stuff. But I do think that those nighttime walkthroughs are kind of help even though you already got the job, you already got paid, whatever, it still solidifies that relationship. And they're like, man, this is cool. He even came over and adjusted a couple fixtures himself, whatever. They're more likely to do their backyard later, do their lake house later, their next house, referral, all that stuff.
They love it. And if you want to get better at lighting, you have to do it, at least to some degree.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. That's why I see the younger guys, not younger, but the newer guys doing more of that. But even then I'll hear of some newer guys that aren't doing that. I'm like, man, I was busting my A at that point. You need to go out there and do that. Those types of things are like icing on the cake that solidify that relationship and get you your next job. You can usually ask for a referral right then.
People are always amazed. Even when you told them you were going to do it, they're amazed when you show up.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break, but I've got a bunch more questions for you. So I already know the time's going to be short. So please stick around if you would. And I just got to do a quick break, and then we'll be back in like less than 2 minutes.
Sounds good.
Hey, Turfs Up Radio fans, do you know what time it is? That's right, it's time for Turfs Up Radio. Now you can catch us streaming live 24/7 with pro talk, pro tips, and pro interviews. Simply visit turfsupradio.com.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help?
I can dig it. See you, bye.
All right, welcome back. I want to thank my non-generic music because I had some issues. I had to go get some copyright-free music, but I just like high-energy music. I like to get pumped. I like to be in a good mood. So thank you for, I don't even know where I got that music. Soundstripe, I think. They're not sponsoring me anyway.
I was going to say, is that the new Motel Pines track?
Yeah, they got so much attention after last week that, now they're touring, and he's not even doing landscape lighting anymore.
Can't blame him. Sounds like a good gig.
Yeah, I know. I need to go back through their music because they actually had a lot of really good music. I liked playing it. So I might just, I didn't know if you can like keep playing the same thing over and over or not, but I don't know. We'll find out. So this is your host, Ryan Lee, Lighting for Profits here on Turfs Up Radio. And I'm joined with Woody Kerwin of Night Owl Landscape Lighting. And we're just talking about some of the things that he does or he's done to grow his business. And I'm interested, I guess, to ask you now, like, where are you at in business right now? I know you recently got a shop, you're hiring. So kind of tell me where you're at in business right now.
Yeah. We've got the shop in the office, and I've got 2 full-time guys. We've got a couple of vehicles. We're we sold half the work we did all of last year before we even got to April this year. So I mean, there's other changes that are gonna have to come down if you want to keep up. But I'm I want to grow just like I think a lot of entrepreneurs, but I'm also a big fan of quality before quantity, and I'd rather talk people into waiting a couple of weeks or a few weeks for projects than to try and rush through stuff or onboard someone really quickly and throw them in the crew, and have the work be questionable to some degree. So we've got a lot on our plate, and we are looking to pick up another vehicle, hire more people, and all that stuff. But one thing at a time. I try and take it slow and not make any missteps along the way. They're going to happen, but try and just. I find to that point of having a lot to do and growing your business. If you're honest with your customers, they're going to appreciate you, and a few weeks doesn't make that much of a difference. I don't think that's as great of a selling point as it can be. We'll be there tomorrow. Okay, well. What else? You don't have anything else to do? Like, you don't have any other work? It's like, all right, if you've got a backlog, I think there's something to that people say, oh, okay, you got a backlog. You must do a lot of work. It's great. So we rest on that a little bit for now.
I think it's fine. I mean, I would even propose that if you can be there tomorrow, to tell them, hey, the earliest we can be here is next Wednesday or something like that, because it's hard to sit there and wait, but at the same time, like it's that demand, right? And I remember being booked out 5-6 weeks thinking, oh man, no one's going to wait for us. They've got this party, whatever. But they're like, oh, if anything, that helps you close the deal on the spot. Cause they're like, man, I'm like, you guys got to decide. Like, the sooner you decide and give me a check, the sooner I can order materials and get you on the install calendar. So if they wait 2 weeks, then it could be 8 weeks. You know what I mean? So I think use whatever you have to your advantage. And if it's being booked out a few weeks, I think that's great.
Yeah, and it's landscape companies right now are just crazy. I mean, I'm sure it's around the country, but around here, I mean, guys are their summers are already booked if they're any good at what they do. So it's not unusual, and I don't think it's that much of an issue. But just I do also want to not be you do want to keep up with the work. So there's going to have to be some more steps here, whether that's hiring another guy or two and picking up another van to meet that demand. We'll definitely do that.
So you're in what part of the country? You're outside of Milwaukee?
Yeah, we cover the whole southeast part of Wisconsin. Wisconsin, yeah. I mean, mostly Milwaukee based within 30 miles, but we travel for special projects, and we have some really good partners that are outside of Milwaukee that we work with on really cool projects. So
yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. I know I've seen some of your projects, and they're awesome. Like, they're really, really cool. They're big. I don't imagine you got those by just walking down the street and knocking on the door. Like, how did you get some of these relationships, and how are you able to maintain those?
Well, a lot of it. So we have a really great distributor in our area that's kind of a really, really old distributor family that they're like 5th generation or whatever, 8th, who knows. And they're really tied into the Midwest in general. And I've been familiar and have worked with them for 10 years or more. And so there's some really good connections that can be made there, that has helped. And then that has really branched off into other connections. So, so for instance, we've got a really big project, biggest project I've designed and sold by myself, is going this summer. And that was a referral through the electrician that did the AV home automation on a big project. That was a referral from someone at where my distributor is, but it wasn't just because of him. It's because when I work on this other project, we're very attentive to detail, and so and I'm really big on good communication, and that is almost that gets you in the door anywhere. That you have to do a good job too, and you got to get along, but if you have really good attention to detail and you're really good at communicating with other trades, they won't think twice about referring you, because that's all. They don't want anything slowing them down. They want someone that's just going to take care of stuff. So I've just made all these connections through these different trades that has sort of spidered into just good networking that way. But
yeah, I think it's awesome. And you mentioned two things that really stuck out to me is one, I can't remember how you worded it, but it's basically fit and finish. I mean, you can have the greatest design out there and even a good install, but then if maybe you have some mulch that didn't get put back right, or you didn't water in the lawn, or you left the walkways dirty. I mean, certain small things like that really shouldn't matter, but they matter like the most.
they matter a lot.
People will find whatever they can to complain about. So don't give them any excuses, right? And so fit and finish is huge. And then I think communication, especially when you're trying to get in with other landscapers and electricians and home builders and pool builders and stuff like that. They're not used to working with stellar companies. They're not good communicators themselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you go in and you over communicate and you're there before you say you're going to be and everything else. They're just like blown away. And then it's a no brainer when someone's like, hey, do you know anyone that does landscape lighting? Yeah. Call our guy Woody with Night Owl. Right. So I think those are two huge points that a lot of people overlook.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people can get referred, and regardless of their skill set, it could just be, well, I know this guy, a lot of people are going to get referred to projects. But you have to go above and beyond that. I mean, it's almost one thing I like to think about. Everybody says, under promise, over deliver. And that's a really good foundational business concept to always have. There's some times where you need to over promise and over deliver on that. And when you get like in front of like a really good or someone who could be a really good partner, I mean, you got someone referred you there and now you're in front of them and you're working with them. It's time to just blow them out of the water. You want to overpromise some stuff and have them be like, is this guy really going to do that? And then you over deliver on that. So it's a bit of a different way to think about it. But I think when you're building partnerships, if you really, really impress people on the first opportunity you get with them, that's going to go a really, really long way.
I like that. I think I might steal that, Woody, because I usually kind of say, under promise, over deliver, but I like over promise, over deliver, baby. Like
do that too.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. It helps. It works.
I mean, you're there. That's why I'm such a big proponent of sales, because we're always selling. People want to fight it and be like, well, I'm not a used car salesman, whatever. But like, we're always selling. Like when you're trying to get a relationship with a pool builder, you're selling yourself, you're selling your system, you're selling everything, right? And so you need to put your best foot forward. You need to over promise and show them, like, look at these badass projects I can do. I'm going to use these cool fixtures. I'm going to do this. I can do this and this. And like, that's what's going to get them excited. You're selling them, and you're not selling them a used car. You're just selling them the opportunity to refer you. And it's going to make their projects look that much even better. Their clients are going to thank them for bringing you on board, right?
Yeah, that's it. Don't waste a good opportunity. When you get in front of somebody, could be a good connection for you, just kill it. Don't think twice about it. Go all in.
For promise, over deliver 2021.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's how you do it.
I like it. So before we wrap up, tell me some of the things that you really love about landscape lighting, and if there's anything you really don't like about it. What is coming to the best and the worst of owning a landscape lighting business?
Well, the thing that I love most about it is also what makes it the hardest, which is the nighttime stuff. Again, and going out at night is the most fun. It's the most fun part of the project. And you learn so much doing it, and you got to keep improving. And the only way you can do that is to constantly be checking up on your work. So you've got to do that. But it also makes it, hard. And that might be specific to the fact that, I've got 3 little kids and there's a lot of responsibility there too. And this time of year, time gets a little bit tight. So it's, for me personally, that's kind of what makes getting into landscape lighting hard, is because if you want to do it and do it right, and you should, you can't cut corners. You got to be honest, and you've got to go back at night and do the adjustments and talk to the clients, because that's how you build your base, and that's how you're going to get better at it.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, I'm a little bit opposite, because I love night. Like I could stay up till 3 a.m. I just don't like the mornings. So I like talking with people. So I liked doing demos and walkthroughs and stuff like that. It's just that I didn't want to meet the guys at the job site at 7 a.m. the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and it's talking to customers when they're just all jazzed up on the work you just did. I mean, it's the best. Yeah, for sure. it's in this particular stage of my life, it's just a challenge to do it, but we find ways to do it anyways. So
yeah, well, I try to tell everyone, I've got 4 kids, so I try to talk everyone to have less than 4, whatever that is. It could be 3,
yeah.
2. But yeah, it makes it a challenge for sure. And it's hard. It's a hard balance because that is your why, most likely. Like, you're doing it or to be a provider, to help your family, but then you're gone half the time. So it's a delicate balance for sure. So props to you for balancing it and getting an all-star wife to be able to take care of those kids.
she is an all-star, and I wouldn't say I balance it perfectly, but I'm always working on it.
Yeah. So what would you say for someone who's like maybe newer out there? There's here on Turfs Up Radio, there's some landscapers that I believe that, they're like, man, I want to get into landscape lighting, but I just don't know what fixtures to use, or I just don't know how to design, or maybe people have done it and they just haven't gotten a lot of traction. Do you have any advice, suggestions on how they can get more involved?
Well, I mean, we have pretty great organizations in the, AOLP and the International Landscape Lighting Institute. Those are 2 really good resources and 2 really good places to look for mentors, for sure. If you're really serious about lighting, look for someone outside your market, maybe who looks like they're really good at it. You may not know anything about them, but do some research and find them and maybe call them. Everybody in this industry is pretty helpful, and I think it's a great community, and people really are, even in their own markets. There's I have another competitor in my market. Him and I, we get along great, and we share ideas all the time, and I know that's true in other markets. So it's a great community. Reach out to some people, but do it right. Be honest. Don't cut corners. There's way too many corner cutters out there. Don't be one of them. Do it right, and make your own luck that way.
Yeah, great advice. And I like the cutting the corner thing, because a lot of people think, well, I'm just new, so I'm just going to, I'm not going to charge a lot. So that means I'm going to have to buy cheap product and cut corners, stuff like that. But that's just not true. Like, you can be new and still go buy nice product, take your time, charge, and do it right. People will pay. Just because you're new doesn't mean that you have to cut corners and do it crappy, because that's why a lot of people get off to the wrong foot or the wrong start. And then they wonder why they're not getting referrals and everything else, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you really got to immerse yourself in lighting. It's not just it's not cutting an edge or spreading mulch. I mean, you do have to immerse yourself. You have to do the research. There's a lot of good resources online, and there's a lot of great books. But you need to be able to talk to customers about it. You can't just speak about it like it's planting a few more perennials here and there, because it's so much more than that. And you'll find that your success will go up if you treat it a lot different than you would, maybe a different product in the landscape industry, if that's where you're coming from.
Yeah, exactly. Well, tell us how people can get a hold of you if they want to be mentored by you. If they're getting into it, they want to reach out to someone else who's not in their market.
So yeah, you go to my website, nightowllighting.com, or Woody at Night Owl Lighting. Shoot me an email. I've talked to other guys in the past. I love talking about lighting, so I'm happy to hear from people and help.
Cool. Thanks, man. Well, listen, I really appreciate you having you on here, and being willing to be the first guest of the second premiere. So thank you, Woody. What is there any final words, final advice you want to leave us with?
Overpromise and overdeliver, 2021.
Okay, I will start using that, and I will give you credit every time I do. So make sure you guys are over-promising, and don't forget to over-deliver when you do that.
That's right. Thanks again. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on here, Ryan.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I really appreciate you being on here. I appreciate your friendship, and thanks again for joining Landscape Lighting Secrets. If it wasn't for you and like a few other guys, then it would have never got off the ground, and it wouldn't be where it's at today. So thanks a ton, man.
Yep, you bet.
All right, take it easy, Woody. And we'll be right back, guys. We're just going to take a quick break, and I'll be back with my lighting tip of the week.
Attention all veterans. Have you heard about Turfs Up Radio's Jobs for Vets program? If you
Bowls, Wayne the Profit Bowls, and many more. Join us live as we unpack the week and share what you may have missed live on Turfs Up Radio. That's the Weekend Review, Saturdays at 9 to 10 a.m. right here on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Yeah! Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to the Landscape Lighting Secrets Studio. I'm Ryan Lee, and this is Lighting for Profits. Oh, man, we just finished up a sweet interview with Woody Kerwin of Night Owl Landscape Lighting. Guy's a total stud. He's really humble, and he's killing it. I mean, he's done a lot. Just in the past, literally 9-10 months that I've known him, he's done a lot. He's a hard worker, and he's getting it done. And there's a difference between someone who just works hard and is busy and someone who works hard and is productive. That dude is productive. Okay. So I look up to him. He's in my program. Yes. But I look up to him, and I love having people like that who inspire others, you know? So hopefully you guys got a lot of knowledge and some bombs out of that, and you got inspired to step up your game. Okay. Whatever it is you're doing, step up your game and get to that next level. Cause he's been doing it, man. He's been killing it. And I'm just grateful he was able to jump on with us for a few minutes. Want to finish today's show by talking about my lighting tip of the week. Actually, I just heard an ad for the Weekend Review. So the Weekend Review is every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So I've been on a couple of them now, and I have to get up early. That's 7 o'clock my time, and then I like to get ready, get my hair and makeup done for it. So I got to get up early for that. I'm not going to be on this Saturday, but you guys got to get on there because we have a lot of cool conversations, and it's basically a recap of the week. And there's a bunch of hosts on there that have their different shows on Turfs Up Radio. So it's a lot of fun. And half the time, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know if I'm getting made fun of. I don't know if I'm making fun of someone else. I don't even know, but it's a lot of fun. It's a blast. So make sure you guys tune into that. And then go on to turfsupradio.com and check out the show schedules, because there's a lot of good shows, you guys. And they all have podcasts as well. So if you can't listen live, then go download their podcast, because these guys are good. They're really good content, educational, entertaining, everything you want in a radio show and podcast. So go check that out, turfsupradio.com. So I want to finish with just my lighting tip of the week. And, every week I think I'm going to prepare something that kind of closes out something that you guys can work on this week. And by the way, too, before I do that, I meant to do it in time for this show, and time got away from me. So I'm going to try to do it for next week. I've got a really cool segment. I've got a really cool segment that I want to introduce next week. So make sure to tune in here every Tuesday at 5 Eastern. I've got a really cool segment that I think you're going to love. And I hope it goes off like I'm planning it to. If it does, it will keep you coming back every single week. So just stick around for that. I'm super excited to introduce the new segment. I didn't have time to prepare for it for this week, but I'm hoping that I'll have it done by next week. So tune in for that. So my lighting tip of the week. So what it is when I got my first sales job, I had a manager, a trainer, and he told me control the controllables. And I was like, okay, you control the controllables. Like, I didn't know really what that meant, but he explained it. So control the controllables is like, don't worry about the stuff that you can't control. Don't worry about stuff that's out of your reach, out of your control. Like, there's certain things you can control. There's certain things you can't. Like, you can't, if someone decides to yell at you, like, maybe you could have controlled something in advance to have them not yell at you. But when they're yelling at you, like, they're going to just yell at you, right? If an employee quits or you get a bad online review, there's only so many things you can do, right? And complaining about it is not one of them. Like, you got to just control the controllables. So whether it's coronavirus, okay, none of us could have planned for coronavirus. Whether it's an upset client, an upset employee, there's certain things you can and certain things you can't control. So, we're human. We like to worry. We like to worry about things that we can't do anything about. And why is that? I don't know, but we do that. So my tip is, don't worry about the stuff that you shouldn't be worrying about, because it's bringing you down. It's holding you back. It's contributing to that feeling of being trapped in your business. Don't worry about those things and just control what you can control, right? So figure out what you can control and only focus on that. Only focus on that. Everything else, just release, okay? Keep the blinders on and focus on what you can control and nothing else. You can't control the weather. You can't control the economy. There's certain laws and regulations that you can't control, right? But you can control how you react. Okay, so this is huge. This is huge. And this is going to help your mindset. It's going to help you be more productive. It's going to help you be more of a positive person. It's going to help you attract better employees, better clients. So you might, when we're talking about growing your business, right? So you might ask yourself, and you may have some false beliefs, which I call them doubts, false beliefs. Well, what if I can't hire anyone? It's hard to find people in my area. I mean, it's hard to find people in any area. It's really, really hard. But complaining about it isn't going to do anything. Like, you got to do what you can do, right? So then you might hire someone and then be like, well, what if they quit? Like, I don't want to hire someone because what if it's hard to hire? What if it's hard? What if they quit? What if my clients, what if they don't like the lighting, I'm proposing? It's $10,000. What if they don't like it? What if they think it's too expensive? Like, these are things that like naturally pop up in your mind, right? But I want you to really think about this. Pause today when this thing's over. Do it right now. I don't care. We only got a couple of minutes left anyway. Just stop listening to me and start thinking about what you can control and what you can't. And then everything that you can't control, just release. Don't even worry about it, because it's wasting brain power. It's wasting energy, and it's taking away from your productivity. Don't worry about the what ifs. If you're like, what if? Don't, just stop. Okay. Don't even think or say what if ever again. Okay. People are going to say no. People are going to get mad. People are going to quit. People are going to lie. People are going to whatever, right? You just have to control the controllables. Do what you can with what you have. And I know this has nothing to do with lighting. You're probably like, well, I thought it was gonna be a lighting tip of the week, like how to install a downlight on a peak or how to core drill a well light. Like, we'll get there. But honestly, I love talking about this stuff. I love talking about mindset and business principles, because that's my thing. That's what I know most of. And that's what's really empowered me and helped me get to the next level. So I'm just talking about what I know, right? And I know my failures, which I label my failures as learning experiences, because we're all going to have mistakes. We're all going to have failures, but it's the people who are successful are the people who have failures and learn from them and don't do it again. And if they do it again, they learn, and eventually they turn that failure into a win. So I want you guys to do that as well. But like I said, no more what ifs. Okay. We've got to change from that mindset and only control what we control. So the reason I bring that up is because I want you to grow your business. I want you to hire your replacement. I want you to start working on your business today. I want you to really start taking those steps to hire that person, right? Hire your replacement and start moving forward. And the only thing that will hold you back is your self-doubt, your false beliefs, and those what-if questions. So make sure that you're not coming up with those excuses. Make sure that you are being positive. And again, just control the controllables. Don't worry about the what-ifs. Don't worry about the things that you can't control, because that's what's holding you back. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching if you're on YouTube or Facebook. I really appreciate your guys' support. And this has been another episode of Lighting for Profits. It was the second premiere, which is the first premiere. So thanks so much for joining me. And guys, don't forget to be here every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Again, my name's Ryan Lee, and this is Lighting for Profits. You guys have a great week. Keep moving forward.